time.
It's going.
It's go time.
All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision. Brought to you from your Ruloff Family Inc. Studios, Bueller, Dodge, Dennis, and Gene at the mics to break you off some MMA knowledge. I had no idea. I didn't see out of my peripherals. Didn't see that happening over there.
It's because of that hat.
It's good. Yeah.
It's all about that hat.
World Series of Fighting blocking my view. All right, so we got some MMA news for you today. Of course, as always, we have UFC Fight Night 109 from last weekend to go over, and UFC, the pay-per-view 212 going down tomorrow night, as well as other things that we will get into. So our first story coming from Gene is, he doesn't have his phone open now. Yeah. Are you good? Are you ready?
I'm good.
So Gene's got some cool stuff going on. He's actually training Mulan to come fight in the UFC.
That's right. She wants to fight the first male radio host she can come across. So, we're setting her up right now.
He's undefeated. Watch your ass.
I want to know, baby.
Undefeated.
Irant Brewer. Okay, baby, we got you.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm training her. I can do it anyway.
The views expressed by Gene aren't exactly the views expressed by Split Decision.
Did we play that, by the way?
We don't need to. We were going to keep it kosher today.
Kosher. I brought up my Jewish background too,
Yep.
and I'm getting it from both sides.
That's it.
Okay.
What?
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, bringing a team in from Mongolia, and they've been international, local and international since 2010. They're some of the top fighters out of Asia, and these guys have been doing really well, so we're going to see how they do here. They've been fighting MGL1, all the deep, and K1 fights over in Europe, so they want to see how America is, so I'm going to bring them over, and we're going to see how things roll here.
You killed radio. I don't know what's going on.
He thinks I touched my nipples. I had an itch.
That voice of yours is so deep and rich and chocolatey that just radio over there
Made his
couldn't
nipples hard.
contain himself and
his
just
nipples
started
hard.
rubbing,
Rubbing his nipples.
just rubbing furiously. And making eye contact with me, which makes it even weirder. Because the voice is here.
So what weight class? Are these all different weight classes?
They're running anywhere from 115 up to 145, 150 pound guys.
They're from Mongolia.
But what they're doing right now is they've got an Ultimate Fighter show going on there, just like the UFC has here. And we didn't expect it, but, well, we expected our guys to do well, but they did better than expected. And 3 out of the 8 that are there have stayed on top and won. So they extended the show over for another 2 weeks for filming, and it's bigger than they ever thought. They got over 700,000 on the viewing.
So all your guys there are from Team VooDoo or from
now.
Bad to the Bones?
Now Team
No,
VooDoo?
no. Bad to the Bones is where we train.
Train.
That's the facility.
Okay.
we
Okay.
train at. Right.
So
Totally.
Voodoo's being resurrected for this, like a phoenix from the
Voodoo's
ashes?
now, yeah, like a phoenix from the ashes.
So you got Mulan, Genghis Khan.
Like I said, when she gets here, she's just anxious as shit to meet you. I give him strap on before I punch him.
So you don't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Is there any way
But
to check
it's a hell of a team, and these guys, just their ethics behind their training is just amazing, and they've never fought here in America.
Is there anywhere to check this out online?
Actually, what I'm going to be doing is be sending you guys some videos, and then we can get some spots, and because I'm redoing the website and everything, and yeah, we will be very soon.
Cool.
And this is all kickboxing or mixed martial arts?
Both. Combination.
Both, yeah,
Combination of the
it's
two.
half
So
and half. Exactly.
2017 resurrection of Team VooDoo, which is cool.
Yeah, so
very, very cool.
2018 should be huge. I mean, I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this.
It's awesome.
You heard it here first, fuckers. We got a carbon monoxide leak in the room, too, so if we all pass out before the show's over, you know why.
I kind of like it.
Jumping into our first story from mymmanews.com, Philly cheesesteaks are at the top of the list here.
Yeah.
My MMA News went up for our battle against some Philly cheesesteaks, one of the best Philly cheesesteaks in the nation. You got several suggestions.
Yeah. We
Tapped out after 2 rounds.
tapped out of 2 rounds.
I don't think they did it right, though. Who thought that they were going to eat a whole Philly cheesesteak at every stop?
Right?
You got to be like Guy Fieri, right?
You eat like half or like a bite or a couple, but no. They went full in and tried to get a cheesesteak at every place.
The whole
They
thing?
got into 2, and they wanted they tapped out.
So you gassed yourself out, essentially,
Yeah.
after 2
Cardio,
rounds.
Eric, cardio.
Like 2 bites.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, buddy.
There you go.
Especially if you're going for the 5-round championship, man. Come on
But
now.
hopefully everything we suggested was good.
The two that you tried.
Apparently.
The two that you tried. Also from my MMAnews.com.
From the actual website.
Roy Nelson has bounced from the UFC, moved over to Bellator.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of freaking out about this online. I've seen some articles. I know. I actually posted a tweet before I looked it up, and I deleted my tweet because I was like, wait a second.
Why are they upset?
Roy Nelson, big country, made a name for himself in the UFC because he was ADCC champ for a while with Abu Dhabi. IFL. He did great in the IFL. And then Dana White hated him so much, he made him go on the UFC Ultimate Fighter to actually make it into the UFC, which he did, made a mockery of the UFC while he was there.
And won.
By saying, if I just do this, these are unanswered strikes. I'm winning right now. I'm scoring opponents. Yeah, see, he's not tapping out, but I'm still winning. And then he won, made it
Ultimate Season 10.
And then he went 9-10 in the UFC. So calm down, people.
Yeah.
Calm down. At this point in time, he has a worse record than Mark Hunt. Isn't Mark Hunt even right now?
Get what you pay for.
Let's see. We got
Mark Hunt. His last two were
22 and 14,
no contest.
And Mark Hunt is
Dun, dun, dun.
Mark Hunt is
12 and 11.
He's got a winning record. Roy Nelson does not in the UFC. So there.
If you're 50-50, you're
The
lucky.
womp 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 thing. Huh? Can we get that? Huh? Can we get it?
Can we?
There we go. Perfect. So you'll see Roy Nelson in Bellator. I'm sure he'll do very well over there in the heavyweight division.
Who's in the heavyweight division in Bellator?
Isn't that where King Mo's at?
Czech Congo?
Yeah, Czech, King. I don't know.
You don't know?
Ian, isn't it?
Who we got? Let's see. We got Sergey Karatanov, Czech Congo, Bobby Lashley, Matt Metrione, and Justin Red.
That's it.
Big Bobby
And
Lashley's over
potentially,
there?
Fedor.
Yeah.
Didn't Matt Mitrione and Roy Nelson already fight?
I believe so, yeah.
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 Yeah, we had the battle of the cabbage heads. Cement heads. Yeah, for sure. Oh, we'll see how he does over there. I mean, Rory Red King McDonald's doing very well over there.
With his first fight.
Yeah, you know, I'll give it to him for one. It's all good. He looked great.
It's good. We have the Nevada State Athletic Commission, or excuse me, the New York State Athletic Commission is revising their weigh-in regulations after the whole Cormier towel balance act that happened. They now have decided that the weigh-in policy, combatants shall not make physical contact with any person or object other than the scale.
I thought that was already a rule.
That's already a rule in California, right, Gene?
Yeah, I thought so.
In California.
Oh, so just
Yeah,
California.
but see, they're in Vegas, so it's...
This was
No,
in
this
New
was
York.
in New York.
New York. Oh, that's right. Let's make the rules as we go.
Well, state by state, you only got to adhere to what you want.
answer
Really.
to the mafia. Otherwise, you just do what we say. Shut up and fight.
So let's see what else we have. So I mean, do you think? Again, we talked about this before. Unified rules across,
But they're not.
They're not yet.
That's not even
Should
a term.
be
I know, but it's not a term you can
unified,
use.
right? I mean, we should try to figure
Rules
out
are the rules.
what they are. Like it can't. I thought the UFC could overrule some of these things and say no, these are what we're doing.
Because then it comes into the legality.
Yeah,
That's
it
the
kinda-
whole thing. That's
Only
where
if
they
there's
all
only if there's not an athletic
Only if
commission.
There's a commission. That's right.
Yeah, because
So-
the UFC has their unified rules outside of the athletic commissions
Right.
in other countries.
Correct.
But here, it's kind of weird that the athletic commission can actually override what the UFC says.
See, well, then because
I think it just goes with whatever's easier, right? For the fighter, the athlete.
But I don't know. That then it gets hard to say. But when it gets to the commission can overrule the UFC rulings, yeah, it can because that commission, whatever commission it is a state oriented. It's a government entity.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
for
they have
example, if the
legality
UFC
for it.
said you're allowed to be 5 pounds overweight for a catchweight fight,
And the state can
whatever
say
state
no,
athlete-
our rules are 4 pounds, and they
they have to adhere to that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, New York says you can't be overweight at all, right?
It's a couple pounds. Isn't it like 3 pounds?
Yeah, it's
I
something
thought it
along
was
those- championship fights have to be.
Yeah,
on-
yeah, okay, that's
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, as long as you ain't got nothing in your titties, it's okay. Yeah.
It's a solid point.
That's why Bigfoot had to leave.
Because the mafia says so. Remember.
He had milk in his titties.
poor big.
He did.
It's a fact. You
It's
can
a
look
fact.
it up.
He did. It brought the boys to the bar.
Milkshake brings all the boys to the bar.
ABC has announced that they are going to be relaunching Battle of the Network Stars.
Can anybody remember what they did on Battle of the Network Stars?
Yeah,
Is this like
I watched
celebrity
repeats.
boxing?
What every time I think
What
of
is
it,
that? It says tug of war.
Yeah.
I'd be scared to watch that one.
Yeah, so it was. So they-
First show's gonna be in San Francisco.
So the 70s and 80s, basically, they would do a
I'll be training at the squat and gobble.
It's called finger cuffs. Right there.
So you had TV stars from multiple eras come across, and they were in a variety of athletic games. They had tug of war, archery, kayak relay, obstacle courses, a dunk tank. So now they're going to be doing those things again.
That's a rough one.
And we have leading the teams are DeMarcus Ware and Ronda Rousey.
I'm
Oh
sad.
man,
How the mighty hath fallen.
Oh my God.
what a horrible!
Hey, she's got a job.
I know, but what a horrible person to put her with. DeMarcus Ware.
No, they're opposing each
They're
other.
opposing each other.
I know, but still, that's like,
He might get hurt.
man. At least if they would have put her with somebody else, anybody else.
At least she's got the winning record out of the two.
At least, right?
Hey, he still made more money in his sport.
Probably in a season.
Yeah.
Kick her in the head. Bring her in here.
So is this something you look forward to watching?
Oh yeah.
You know what? I
can't
started
wait.
watching what Sylvester Stallone's was it called The Dragon?
No.
Dragon Master.
Beastmaster.
Beastmaster.
Ultimate Beastmaster.
Yeah, I started watching that and I don't want to see this now.
So I watched the Ultimate Beastmaster, the first episode, and I was like, cool. So
Beastmaster?
I fast forwarded to the
No,
end.
that's the show you watch. We're talking about Beast.
I fast forwarded to the end to see who won, and then I was like, why do I need to watch 11 more episodes of this? Can I just watch the champions at the end and see who's the best one?
Yeah.
Well, then it come to find out, each episode they start changing the course, so
Yeah.
not everybody has the same course.
Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of people were complaining about that show. To get off topic here for a second too, that it was a little janky, maybe a little
lot
rigged.
janky.
Yeah.
A lot
TV, what do you
janky.
expect?
See, I think they need to bring back pros versus Joes.
Fuck yeah, they do.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah,
That shit's
that's
legit.
what I was hoping that this was kind of going to be like. That they like somebody was going to fight Ronda. Maybe Kathy Griffin.
We're holding a bloody drum head, you know.
See, I'm really Andy Dick. Let's go, bitch. I think Kathy Griffin has a better shot, really.
I don't know if Andy Dick can talk that tough. It's a scary voice.
No, that was probably more Kathy Griffin, really.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh well.
UFC women's strawweight Courtney Casey recently defeated Jessica Aguilar at UFC
I
211.
heard there's some controversy over this, though.
There is some controversy over this because she failed her anti-doping test, and now her fight has been changed to a no contest.
They
But I
say
heard
what?
there was like controversy over actually failing. Like it shouldn't
What
have
did she
failed.
do?
No, it's because it's about the elevated levels again. There was no actual
elevated
substance.
testosterone,
It's just
yeah.
elevated levels.
Okay.
Elevated levels of testosterone to epitestosterone.
Flagged in Texas.
Right.
4-to-1 ratio.
Flagged and bagged.
She was anything over 4-1 is flagged. She was 5-4-1.
Yeah, see, she was.
Remember when Sean Shirk was 23-1?
See, now that's where
Right?
Hey, and he wasn't on anything.
And he said he wasn't on anything.
Here's another point where you get into that question about the commission overriding something that would normally be allowable. Here it is, that one.
Yeah, but the commission
Like-
can't override WADA or USADA, can they?
No, but depending on what the level is, different level here. Hey, it was acceptable here, and
Well,
it's
4-to-1's been
different
pretty across the
levels.
board.
And if that's across the board entirely, then it's across the board.
It's been I'm saying it's been pretty across the board. I'm not gonna.
Okay, but
I'm not
we-
gonna choose that hill to die on.
But I know. But even in when we were studying it before, we said that there were certain ways that just naturally your body could spike up to 6-1 and 7-1.
Just by going to
well,
take the test,
I've heard even 12-1.
you
is
can go
possible.
just by going to take the test can bring your levels up.
What's the stress?
The stress can do it.
See, and I don't.
What
you
if
know.
you're like -5-1?
And you walk
can't
in and you're
remember.
all, hey, can I fill this cup up?
It's worked for me before.
Just saying, I'm getting old. I might be somewhere around there, like 0.5% to 1. I don't know.
Dana White has recently said that the Bisping GSP fight is definitely not going to happen. Obviously, why he made the interim belt between Yoel Romero and Robert Whittaker, that this fight is absolutely never going to happen.
I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
He says George St. Pierre wants to come back. Who knows when? November or December. And he'll fight whoever's the champion at 170. However, I am not confident that GSP will
Never
return.
Ember?
Yeah.
He says I don't wait for anybody. He's like, whenever he comes back, he'll fight whoever is the champion.
Unless your name's McGregor, and then apparently we'll just continue
He'll
to
fight
wait.
at 170. So that now 185 is not even an option, is what Dana White seems to be saying.
Wow,
That
okay.
he wants to make him stay at 170. George St. Pierre says, the reason I was unable to come back is I have a slight eye issue. My vision is not completely back. I talked to my doctor. My doctor insisted that I do not even spar until September.
But that'd be perfect to fight Bisping. Neither's his.
The UFC was very aware of this. I told them I couldn't be fighting in the summer. They insisted on doing the press conference. And when it happened, they were not excited about the idea, but we wanted that fight, so we decided to do it. It's been turned into a negative thing because it's taking so long. But everybody knew, including the UFC. I've always said if I was coming back to fight, I need a fight that excites me. I wanted to fight Bisping because I wanted somebody that could elevate me.
That's right. I'm behind him 100%. I want to be excited too.
Elevate you how? You got to remember 4-1.
Hey, I'm
Get
already
too elevated.
elevation.
He also says,
I don't know. I'm on board with Joey. I don't think he's coming back.
He also says
Probably not.
one thing is for sure. I am a one fight from retiring for good. I can tell you this for sure. If I come back and lose, this is it for me.
So if somebody kicks
I'm
his ass
finished.
sparring, he's done.
It's over. I don't want to hang in there and be a punching bag for the younger people. I do not believe I will lose. I feel like I'm at my best. I've put a lot on the line, and I do feel like a better version of myself than when I left. If down the road I lose, I will pass the torch, and I am finished.
I would think she should just.
Yeah, I don't care who he comes back. If he fights anybody at 185 in the top 7, he's going to be a punching bag.
Right.
If he fights anybody at 170 in the top 5, he's going to be a punching bag.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know. Maybe 185 might be a little bit of a stretch.
I think-
170, I think he's still one of the most dominant athletes
Yeah.
in the sport
I
and
think
in the
he-
division.
When's the last time you seen him fight?
How old is he now?
The last
Before
time
he
anybody
retired?
saw him fight.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, the level of competition since he's not fought, it's definitely
but
risen.
the time that he retired,
the whole style
Who
of
else,
fighting
who
shit.
else has been as dominant as him, though, in that division?
Yeah, and nobody's
Nobody.
Nobody's
Not
been-
anybody.
nobody's
You
on his
can't pick
level.
one person that has even had,
I
a
think the
3-fight
ages
win
got
streak?
younger. I don't think that.
Can you find anybody who's had a 3 or 4-fight win streak in that
No,
division?
and his takedown percentage is insane.
I mean, I could
Absolutely
be wrong.
insane.
I mean, we can go, I believe me, I plan to probably after the show. I will go back and find every single fighter in the UFC since George St. Pierre has left in the 170-pound division and find a win streak.
Who was
but I
it?
guarantee
Was it-
it's not more than 3 or 4.
Was it Hendricks that made him look bad in one of his last fights?
Yeah, that was it.
Aside from that, nobody else did. So that's,
And he was on a huge win streak.
Yeah, and where's Hendricks? Hendricks had to end up moving up because he couldn't
did.
handle 170.
Yep.
And he went to 185, which I don't think that's a better place for him either.
I think that with his takedown percentage and the way he was able to execute things in the cage,
And I can't argue with that because Maya's obviously proven when you have takedown and boa constrictor.
He's got a
active.
12-fight win streak. George St. Pierre had a 12-fight win streak upon leaving the sport.
And
Okay.
that loss against Matt Serra was bullshit. And everybody knows that.
Yep. But I mean, still, you put 12 fights together like that. Does Damian Maia come close? Maybe 8? No. Maybe? I don't even think. I don't know.
You got to give credit where credit's due.
Oh,
Quit pushing
and
that
again,
freaking button.
I believe he's as good as once as he ever was.
Good call on that. Six.
I don't
six
think he'll be a
fights.
punching
Seven.
bag.
7
He
fights.
may
So
move
yeah,
and may
that's
not
the
throw
closest.
as much as
Right?
before, but
Maya.
you
Yeah.
can't take what he's got from him because it's still there. Instinct is still instinct.
Oh my God! Do you want to see GSP and Damian Maia fight? Can we just all say no to that real quick?
I'd rather see him fight Ben Askren.
Ben Askren's the ref. They all just take a fucking nap
Yeah,
together.
I'd rather watch 2 tortoises run the 100-yard dash.
see who finishes first.
Further news muddling people who don't want to fight. Jermaine Durandame is saying that she will not be fighting Chris Cyborg ever.
Yeah, because she's going to go back down to 135.
Well, we'll get to that part of it. First, she said, this is coming from Jermaine Durandame's manager. She said, Jermaine and her team have talked. Position is she will not fight Cyborg because Cyborg is a known and proven cheater. Even after so much scrutiny has been put on Cyborg, she still managed to pop for something, and she will always be a person of suspicion who is trying to beat the system rather than conforming to the rules. For that reason, Jermaine and her team do not believe Cyborg should be allowed to compete in the UFC. And if that's the only fight the UFC wants, Jermaine is willing to wait and see if they will strip her of her belt before making another move. She
said
also
the fighter who punches people after the bell.
she also says
Jermaine
Yeah,
Durandame.
she also says as far as her reason for rejecting the fight, not her management's, not whoever is speaking for her, is because she says my reason for rejecting the fight has nothing to do with fear. I believe if you want to do sports, you have to do with any means that can affect muscle mass. I am a top athlete, always trained, always watched my food, and put 18 years of my life in sports without using one means that is not allowed. I have an appointment with my doctor, and it has been decided whether or not I will be operated on. This option should be considered for me as a great chance that my tendons and nerves can cause such damage that I will not be able to use my hand optimally. In my negotiation contract with Holly Holm, in advance, I said after this fight, I want to return to my natural weight class. She wants to remain at 135. That she was basically coerced to go up to 145 to take the fight with Holly Holm for a 145-pound belt. That she would like to have remained at 135. Putting on the muscle mass is always
So what do you do?
strain on her.
You win the belt, then you don't defend it.
She said she'd drop it. She'd rather go back.
Why not? Why not? We got a 155-pound guy, never defended it.
That's a really solid point.
Yeah. But she says, I promised, they promised me I could go back to my natural weight class. That's what I'm focusing on. Adding further confusion, Dana White recently said he wants to add a 125-pound division, which we talked about. He says, I believe that there are 3 good, talented weight divisions for women. Cool. So you have 115, you have 135, now you've made 145 and 125. If you only have 3, which one's going away? And obviously, at least for my opinion, is 145. Your only fighter there is Cyborg.
And that was all he wanted that division for was Cyborg.
Yep.
That was it.
And now, to further push into that,
And
obviously...
that was going to be a thing with Gina Carano when there was the whole rumor of her comeback, 2 years ago?
Yep.
She could fight 145 now.
I don't know.
You can't get it.
And so, to further make things a little more difficult, obviously we have Cyborg's whole thing with Angelina Magna, who has been basically getting a lot of people bashing her that are in the fight community saying, look, you opened your mouth, you got your ass beat, deal with it.
Talk shit, get hit.
Talk shit, get hit. Don't try to run a lawsuit. Don't try to get in it.
She got kicked out of her fight team, right?
Kicked out of her fight team. Brandon Vera said, don't ever come back to my gym.
Are you shitting me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And
I
in
didn't
fact,
know
he
that.
used some very strong language and then had to rehash it because
and
he got
even
flagged.
said, he goes, I feel bad because
Haven't even say this.
To say this, I feel like
No,
a
with,
bully.
Angelina Magna.
I feel like a bully saying this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but it was like the first person that made her think about it because immediately after he did this, she deletes her Instagram
Yeah.
and supposedly her Twitter too.
Wow.
Whoa.
I didn't follow it that far. I didn't know that.
There it is right there. Brandon Vera. His exact quote was, I was going to leave this alone, but this trifling cunt is still at it.
Ooh, you didn't push
Damn,
the
he
button.
said, see you next Tuesday.
She embodies what's wrong with the world today. Super entitled, whines and cries about everything. Instagram ass famous. No other skills whatsoever and pretty worthless. Bitch, you got your card pulled for cyberbullying someone you thought you'd never run into it. Super drama queen. Do me a favor, keep your ass away from my gym, Alliance MMA. I super feel like a bully for posting this, but she's a prime example of what the world's gone to shit. Crybaby ass. The only positive thing about it is she isn't a guy. Fuck, there's plenty of them as well. P.S. There's a reason why no one is standing up for you. Not your homegirls, your training partners, your fighters at the summit. You deserved it. Your hospital picks are shit for a case since you went to the Snoop Dogg concert that same night. If any of this
Which
burns,
people have posted multiple videos of her dancing and
having a good time,
carrying
yeah.
on.
Burning
if
them
this
blunts.
Burns interview you don't want to talk about it, I'm in Guam now. I'll be back at PH next week. Come on out. He then had to edit the whole thing to remove all the foul language, but pretty much left everything else the same.
This is a prime example of somebody gaming the system. She
Yep.
wanted to push the envelope, but
Yep.
like the rule of this game is talk shit, get hit. And you talk shit, you got hit, and then you wanted to press charges and call the authorities.
Right.
And that's a weak way of doing things.
It
It's
is,
like
for sure.
taunting somebody to punch you for as long as you possibly can, and then they finally give in.
In
and
fact,
they hit
there
you,
are
and
states
you
that
sue
have
them.
laws against that. If you taunt someone and get punched, you actually cannot be held for the assault.
Liable, right.
It's you cannot be. They won't be held liable because
Yeah.
you were taunting.
Oakland won't charge you.
Yeah, I know there's a couple states and there's a couple cities that actually do.
City.
The thing that Dana White has to
me
finally, Dana White finally has to say about the whole thing. He goes, "Look, this
Call
is
the
the
amber lamps.
this is the real world." He says, "Now, when you're in that octagon, almost anything goes, but in the real world, at the fucking fighter retreat, nothing goes. You cannot put your hands on another human being outside the octagon. It's assault. You will get arrested." In the fight world, we love to get caught up in this. Hey, you know what? She had a big mouth. She got what she needed. She got a smack in the mouth.
Misdemeanor
That's great,
assault.
but it does not work this way in real life. He goes,
seem to forget it's
even
TV.
he talks about, Paul Daly lost his temper when the fight was over. The bell rang. He went up and punched him. That's assault. He's been removed. He said further in another episode with when he was talking about Matt Serra when he got in the verbally into a fight with a ring announcer at a regional show. He goes, if you were to beat the shit out of that douchebag and the announcer went down. He's like, it's that one. That was the you would have left in handcuffs. Like, but you were the bigger man. You walked away. He says you would have left in handcuffs. It was equal to the Cyborg Magna thing. He says,
So he's the one who sent Cody to Russia for putting his hands on TJ. Then, right?
what?
The choking.
You went to Germany.
Germany, whatever. he said.
It's not that big a deal. I mean, who has it? Who hasn't been in bracelets for assault?
You raising your hand? Why are you raising your hand?
You have.
I have. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say murder.
No.
Whoa.
I was raising my hand.
Whoa, that
Sorry
escalated
about
quickly.
Yeah.
So I mean, the whole thing is pretty crazy. There's rumors that I've seen online, and I don't know if any of this is true. Obviously, is that Cyborg did this because she wants out of her contract. I've been saying this now for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That I really think that Cyborg will be dropped from the UFC by the end of the year
And move over to Bellator.
and move over to somewhere else, and she'll have a fine career.
Plenty of money.
She's got money anyway.
She's
got
also
gyms.
upset.
She's got
she would,
gyms
she
at
would
home.
love to go back and work for Coker. I'm sure she
Oh
would.
yeah,
Fortunate
hands
South
down.
America.
She was also upset that
I mean, honestly, you got a point. If Bellator wants into the South American market, that's a
boom,
that's a
grab it.
easy walk
And
through.
they're trying to build their women's division anyway.
Right.
Grab her.
Well,
Just like
there is things going on down there.
I mean, we talked about how a lot of these fighters want to go back and work for Scott Coker because of all the things he did in Strikeforce.
Right.
Because
And
he
does-
built that up.
And I will tell
and a
you
lot of these
firsthand.
fighters dealt with Elite XC and Strikeforce, and they had a great relationship.
Right. Coker is very one-on-one. He will not lie to you. That is one of the biggest things. He brought me into the K1 world when I had Carter way back when, and started me out and mentored me for a long time and really taught me a lot about the business. And the guy is straight up. I mean, he always has been. And even to this day, he still remembers, answers calls, texts, no problem.
Yeah.
I know.
And we hear that from a lot of
fighters.
Nobody else
there's-
does that.
Yeah,
I mean,
and a lot of
nobody
fighters
else
around
does
here are
that.
really surprised because even if they're not working for him, but he's talking about a deal with them, like he's still keeping in touch with them.
He does.
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
I just heard like the other day, the guy was telling me he was just like out of nowhere, just on a Sunday, and he's like, "Yeah, right." And he's like, "No, this is really me.
He'll put you right in
I just
with
want to let
Rich
you know what's
too, or
going
whoever you
on.
need
You
to
know,
be with, to contact with.
yeah.
What does
Basically, he
what
want
does
to
he
make
tell
sure
you about Santa Claus?
All the time.
Obviously, another thing that Cyborg is upset about is that Megan Anderson, who is the Invicta 145-pound champion, now has another fight. She'll be fighting Helena Kolzanik,
Sure.
right, at Invicta 24. Now, Cyborg was championing for a match against her, obviously because she's in her weight class. She is a champion. She got really upset recently on Twitter and said that, how is it that she gets a fight booked before I do?
because she's never dodged a fight. She's never turned down a fight.
Number one, she hasn't turned down a fight. Number two, she's not missed weight. Number three, she's in fucking Invicta, okay? The UFC does not make her fights. You can't get upset at the UFC for not making her fight when she doesn't have it. She's Invicta.
Wait, Megan Anderson never missed weight?
I don't think she's missed weight.
Okay. I didn't know what you were talking about for a
Dude,
second.
this is how out of touch some of these people are. They are still stupid fighters sending messages to the Zuffa family,
Yeah.
wanting to know what's going on with their shit. Like
Really?
they really don't realize what's happened.
Like, Invicta
Like,
has
do you got
a...
a pool
T-shirts
float?
in the back.
Obviously...
I don't fucking know.
Obviously, we know that Invicta has a working relationship with the UFC because of the fights
yeah,
that
but
are aired
so
on Fight
so
Pass.
does Titan. So does
all these other places.
Yeah.
I mean, but they don't do. They're not setting up their fights. They're not setting up their contracts. They work for Invicta. And
Presented
Cyborg,
by-
you're signed with the UFC.
Yeah, why was she? Yeah, and so she's was she? Her thing was to Sean Shelby too, right? And
Yeah,
he don't handle Invicta,
No.
right? Yeah,
I didn't understand the situation.
At, for sure.
So, and Megan Anderson did say she would like to fight Cyborg. Obviously, she goes if Invicta can't find me an opponent, I'll go over to the UFC and fight Cyborg
yeah.
for.
Because Megan Anderson likes money.
Yeah, but again, the UFC
A lot
has
of
to
money.
make that jump to grab her from Invicta. She can't just say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to fight in the UFC."
She's allowed to fight in the UFC, but the UFC has to agree to it.
Yeah, exactly.
The UFC has to see some kind of value in that fight. And if it's the only one who's willing
We
to
don't
fight
do
Cyborg,
nothing
then
unless
that
it's
happens.
for money.
She is on the 214 card.
Who
Cyborg.
is she?
Yeah, they just
don't have an opponent for her.
They don't have an
Her-
opponent for her.
Her Twitter account still says like Go Champ
subject to
UFC
change.
214. Yeah.
Yeah,
She did change her name. Her name is on Twitter. It's Go Champ UFC 214 with the @ symbol.
Interesting.
There, you can have that.
There you go.
Don't see it anywhere.
Should have that on a button.
She's not on there,
No,
but that's what her Twitter account is. That's really weird.
because she wants to fight there.
no, even MMA fighting.
Is expected to be on. It says right there. Is expected to be on this card to complete it with an opponent to be named in a weight class to be determined.
Wow.
right.
Wow.
Just leaves you floating.
Right. A little more with Dana White, obviously talking about the whole DJ situation. And last week I misspoke when I said that TJ would have to drop down to 115. Obviously, DJ fights at 125.
125.
We had just recently been talking about the strawweight women's division, so I got the numbers mixed up. However, yes, I have not seen TJ ever drop down to 125 pounds.
No.
I mean, how respectable can somebody goes by the handle Victor Cruz for president? Anyway.
However, we do, like I said, Dana White says that
We're on to you, Victor.
Dana White says we are still pushing for that fight. We're still going to try to make that fight happen. It doesn't matter because he feels Borg is ranked 5 or 6. Dana White, you're wrong. He's ranked number 3. And Henry Cejudo and Benavidez are just above him, who have already been defeated by Demetrius Johnson. So I would think Ray Borg would be the next guy to get a shot. However, Dana White says no. TJ is a former champion. He will drop down to 125 and get an immediate title shot because he was a former champion. Doesn't have to have a pickup fight in a weight class that he's never been in. And he says, I don't understand why DJ doesn't want this. This is be the first time he actually gets pay-per-view money. This is the first time he's going to get pay-per-view points.
I don't know because it's
and
not,
people
because,
actually buy a pay-per-view if it's TJ versus DJ versus Borg.
because he wants to keep it about fighting. He wants Borg, the guy who worked for the fight, to get the fucking fight.
He's got this shit that we've been talking about for 6 weeks now. He's got a little bit of purity left.
Fuck
in him.
that, do it for the money.
No, yeah.
That's what it's all about now, and that sucks, man.
Cha-ching.
What it's cut down to.
That sucks.
That sucks.
All the way to the bank. Cha-ching.
Damn it, it's such a bummer I made $1 million.
Thank you, Dana.
Sucks so bad. I mean, dump it all over
See
me.
what I'll do for a rock.
All these paper cuts for my $1 million bills.
We had Alexander Gustafsson obviously get his win over Glover Teixeira, which we'll get to here in a quick second. He immediately went to Twitter
Still don't have enough money to fix it.
and said that he was going to be rooting for Daniel Cormier. He says, as a person, as a champion, he's not a champion. Or excuse me, not on Twitter. He said this in his post fight. As a person, as a champion, he's not a champion in my eyes. He's not a good person in my eyes. I will tell you guys, I hope DC wins because I like that guy. He's a worthy champion. John Jones, who was on Twitter, like our president here, decided he couldn't shut himself up and just went on a Twitter tirade saying, of course you're rating for Daniel Gus. You might as well pray for him too while you're at it.
Was he texting that while he was driving?
Here's a little FYI. You didn't lose against DC because
Doing a little kafifi.
and because of your cardio, you lost because of lack of heart. I am not a champion because you don't like my personality. Fuck you.
I'm at a red light.
He beat you, John.
John Jones
I don't even care what everybody says.
John Jones
Those
is a
judges were bought.
John Jones
He
is
beat you, John.
John Jones is a bad person. You sound like a
Gus?
fucking dork.
Yeah. Gus beat him, dude. I don't care what
A
anybody
lot
says.
of people think that. A lot of
Maybe good guys don't always finish last. I'm not a champion because I'm a bad person. You're not a champion because you don't win championship fights.
Whatever the case.
Which Alexander Gustafsson got back in and says, no, my friend, against you is because the absence of the US ADA anti-doping.
Ain't that the truth?
And he says also, he's like,
Like John peppered him with a bunch of lefts,
Yeah.
and then Gus came in and was like, "Bitch."
he says, I'm also going to root for DC because I want you to win. And after the way I beat you, I promise I'll pray for you. Are you happy now?
Hey, thoughts?
John
prayers?
Jones says, whatever, Alex.
T's and B's.
Root for both of us, I guess. Next time, if you don't have anything, nice to say, you know the rest. I'm done for you. I'm done with you now.
So what?
The Xanax must have just started to kick in, right?
He came down.
He definitely came down because the tweets ended at 3 a.m.
He was like,
Wow, that was
I'm
literally.
falling asleep here at the
Yeah.
stoplight, man, while I'm driving.
he's all no more Yankee the Wanky. I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. Pornhub kicked me off.
It's like,
And then you get a.
Shit, I said I'd buy her a Mercedes. Fuck. Why did I say that? Damn it.
So how do you feel about? I mean, John Jones, man, like, stay off Twitter.
Hey, he's worth his hype
Stop driving?
and entertainment.
Stop driving. Stay off Twitter.
Stay off Twitter. Stay off cocaine.
Don't watch
stay
Tiger
off-
Williams.
They
on
need
the
to lock him
news.
in one of those sensory deprivation things. After, like, he gets done working out, just lock him in water and darkness.
Yeah, he just kind of floats.
Yeah.
Fucking Daredevil.
Yeah.
Exactly.
explode.
Just so they could just let it
They
all
probably
go.
open it up.
He would turn into a fucking.
No, and then just a slit, just to slide them like pancakes. Like, there you go, John. Eat. What am I supposed to drink? Here's a straw. Suck out of the water that you're floating in. Just stay in there,
No,
John.
you don't want to give John Jones a straw. Who knows what he's going to do with that thing? Are you crazy?
fucking crazy straw. He turned into a Matrix battery in one of those fucking cocoons. Power of small city.
Joey's wearing an old hat. I don't know if you know this or not, but World Series of Fighting is no longer around.
Nope.
And we have proof of this because even though they have 4 events left this year, they're all going to be rebranded as PFL events. Even though their series doesn't start until January, the last 4 World Series of Fighting events are now going to be the first 4 PFL events. However, from what I've seen,
But it
there's
has nothing to do with the league structure that they're working toward next year.
correct. This is just to kind of get people interested in watching their
it.
events.
They're
Yeah.
gonna change it.
And the one that cracks me up the most is that, at least from as far as I can find, they're still trying to use the numbering scheme from World Series of Fighting. If it's PFL 36, where were the first PFLs?
What?
Hey, Dodge,
It
quit
was
poking the bear.
They're already ruining my fucking birthday by having their first event
Stop with your logic.
on June 30th. This is going to be going down at Daytona Beach.
Why can't this be a countdown?
At
This could be
Daytona-
PFL 4,
right?
3,
Right.
2,
Two,
1,
one,
boom. Like
You know
that,
what?
use
You know
it.
what?
PFL is going to have their first event at the Daytona International Speedway. Now, mind you, NASCAR still has a deal with Fox and Fox Sports 1, so this will not be aired live, except for I've read somewhere that it is going to be aired
on
live.
NBC, right?
On NBC, but it's because the event is happening after the NASCAR event is done.
Oh, man, I wanted this to happen during the NASCAR
No,
event.
this isn't going to be like the Monster Energy drink, which, by the way, I also saw a statement of somewhere that a representative from PFL says this is going to be the first event of its kind of NASCAR and MMA happening. And I said, bitch, that already happened at Bellator
Yep.
like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
You won't be able to hear anything.
You lost your thing. It's not the first.
Center track.
And side note, June 30th, your birthday will also be our 400th episode.
400.
Only 100 more so I can quit.
Getting hammered.
I'm still chained.
So-
we
I'm
can do
chained
that
to the
here.
desk.
Maybe we could do the episode from Komodo.
Maybe.
All right.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Chained to the desk. 100 more episodes.
But they are also going to have an event July 29th, October 14th, November 4th. We'll see how these all plan out. The big one that I did see, I believe...
Well, the one coming up on June 30th is John Fitch.
John
defending
Fitch,
his
yeah.
Championship.
Yeah, defending his belt. And I guess the bouts that are going to happen on this are going to be for seeding in the tournament.
In the new season that starts in January.
In January.
So for the next 4 events that they have, depending on how the fighters perform, they will gain their number seed for the tournament season that begins in January.
Which I don't understand why they don't just start there.
Well, that means come January, John Fitch will no longer have a belt. Assuming he keeps it all the way through these events.
Right, but he'll have good seeding?
He will be the number 1 seed. Correct.
Got it. Good luck, PFL.
I'm rooting for you.
Did they change these so they could add more fights to their possible?
Are they trying to make you wear this hat longer?
They're trying to-
Is this what's happening?
He did tell me to make sure I keep this hat pretty.
No, we need
that reason.
If you're watching, and I know you are, we need the PFL stuff now.
I have the logo. I can just go get it embroidered on a hat if
This
you want.
I wear extra large.
I picked it up. I'm
I'll
just
come
saying.
more often.
Whoa, that's what she said. Come on.
Do anything for clothes. Fuck it.
UFC Fight Night 109 happened over the weekend.
Oh,
it did.
by the way, did that happen Sunday morning?
That was in the morning.
Sunday
Yeah, that's
morning.
weird.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know what was going on this whole weekend.
Thanks a lot. MMA Pixels made a nice little
Pancakes, bitches.
pancakes picture. I like that because we're not a credible source.
Yeah, why even think that we are ever? What did you hear from the main card with Jack? Stop scrolling.
Try it. Let's try to really pronounce them.
Jack Hermanson going up against
Then I'm not allowed
Alex
to talk, apparently.
Nicolasen. This was ended in the first round by Jack via TKO at the 2-minute mark. Will you fucking stop doing that? Nordine Talib up against Oliver Enkamp. This was a unanimous decision in favor of Nordine Talib. Omari Akhmedov up against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. This was a split decision
Al-Hassan.
in favor of Omari.
Drink?
You were saying Magana was Magana. Magana. Peter Sabata beat Big Ben Saunders with a TKO.
Man,
in the
poor Ben.
second round, 229. Right about halfway through it.
Oh,
And then
this right here.
Volkan Ozmadir up against Misha Kirknikov. No, that's not even. I put a fucking letter
Kirknikov.
there. That doesn't
Now
even
this
exist.
was crazy because there was tons of fans saying that Ozdemir or whatever was just that this is what was going to happen, but bookies and
Flipped it the other way.
yeah, bookies, pros, everybody else said, "Oh, Misha's got this. Misha's got it." And then yeah,
Well, they thought it was Cupcake, Misha Tate.
no,
They're like, oh shit, we got it wrong.
yeah,
Vulcan's a badass first name. It's pretty awesome. I like it.
dude.
He did the
I
neck
named
that
my
one in the
next
memory
dog that.
did
Yeah.
Hey, and what's funny
Yes.
is what's funny is he knocked this cat out while he was being punched.
And then Gus Alexander Gustafsson
Yeah.
took on Glover Teixeira. This went
In a
all the way to the
fucking
5th
war.
round. Absolute war.
fight.
Ended up finishing it at 107 of the 5th round with a
Uppercuts.
knockout. Big
Yeah.
Uppercuts.
Big, big
Uppercuts.
And I
Wrestling great.
and I was one of those people that were questioning Glover's ability to take a punch. I mean, Dude, he ate a lot.
He ate a lot of punches.
I almost was ready to throw in some barbecue sauce to help him eat those punches. You know, a couple rolls, Kaiser buns, since they were over in that side of the world.
I'm hungry. Give me more.
Your pay-per-view for this weekend is UFC 212. This is going to be unifying the featherweight titles, the interim with Max Holloway and the title holder Jose Aldo. Do you want to start on the prelims on Fight Pass? Or do you want to start on the prelims on Fox Sports 1?
Go ahead and start on the Fight Pass.
Okay.
I'm busy.
I see that.
Well, Marco Beltran
Professional.
here. This is a
Yeah.
stand-in voice.
So we
Marco
got
Beltran.
up against Devson Figueiredo. Then you got Luan Chagas taking on Jim Wallhead. Then Vivian Pereira taking on Jamie Moyle.
Moyle.
Yeah, I'm going wild.
Moyle all the way. And then jumping on to Fox Sports 1 for your prelims, you got Yuri Alcantara taking on Brian Keller. Johnny Eduardo taking on Matthew Lopez. Antonio Carlos Jr. taking on Eric Spicely. And Rafael Oswansao taking on Marlon Morales.
I got Marlon in
There's
that
no
fight.
L there. Moraes. And then your main card, UFC 212 on pay-per-view. Eric Silva kicks it off, taking on Yancy Medeiros.
Yancey.
I got Yancey.
Medeiros.
I'm
Love
taking Eric
Medeiros.
Silva. I got it all the way.
Yeah.
And then Paulo Borrachina taking on Oliwale Bambus.
Well, you know we got Bang Boost, dude. Everybody loves the Bang Boost.
Bang bus.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
Bang that
No TRT, Vitor Belfort taking on Nate Marquardt.
Who says this will not be his last fight?
Oh,
Even though we had
Nate's gonna
reported
kick his
multiple
ass.
years earlier that, or multiple episodes earlier that this would be his last fight as well as Nate Marquardt's last fight, Vitor says that he is not done with the UFC. This will not be his last fight.
See that? I thought that he said it the other way around. Like
He
this will
did.
be his last fight in the UFC, but it will not be his last fight in MMA.
Right.
Okay, well,
And now he's saying he's not done with the UFC.
So somebody sent him a check,
not until Jesus says so.
or somebody sent him a hat,
Not until the cheese would say so.
or some tickets.
After that, you got Claudio.
You got
Gadella.
Vitor or you got Nate?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nate.
No, I'm going to go with Nate.
Nate.
It's going to suck when Vitor loses him. Fuck, that's going to be riots. But Nate over Vitor. And then Claudia Gadella takes on Carolina Kowalkiewicz. It's a
How do you
tough
feel about
one.
that fight?
It's a tough one, but I'm going Carolina.
Carolina?
Carolina.
I'm rooting for Claudia, dude. I want Claudia to win, but I think it's gonna be Kowalkiewicz.
All right.
I'm rooting. I would love Claudia Gadella to win, but I think Kowalkiewicz has it for
Yeah,
sure.
because Claudia, I mean, she does so many good things outside of the ring. She's another one of them pure fighters, you know, like we're talking with Demetrius Johnson, but I don't know, Kowalkiewicz is bad.
Monster. And then Jose Aldo taking on Max Holloway. You got the champ versus the interim champ.
Holloway.
This is a tough fight.
This is going to be a great
This
fight.
is a tough fight.
I think it's gonna be quick, and I think it's gonna be Max.
I think
Do
this,
you think that
he's
Jose
gonna-
Aldo's, what was that, 30 seconds of his life that just ruined his career? Does that have to do with anything?
I really-
Do you think that ruins his career? That
No,
34
no,
seconds
not
he
at all,
lost
not at all.
McGregor ruins his career.
I think this-
put a niche in his head.
this is a defining moment for him. If he
Yeah.
comes back and beats Blessed, then we got Jose Aldo back and he's refocused. But
sure.
If he gets beat by Blessed, then he's done. I can't see him.
I mean, he did come back after that McGregor fight and beat Frankie Edgar.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a great fight.
But he should have fought McGregor.
Well, everybody
he
knows he
yeah.
should have fought McGregor. McGregor should have defended his belt, but that's never going to happen.
He's got to build on that. No,
He's got to go get some boxing belts that he's going to be fighting someone that doesn't even hold any belts anymore. It never makes any sense, but whatever.
No, but by belts, I think he means bills.
Oh, that's
Money.
what it is. He
They're gonna
belts
go
of
get money.
money. Belts of money.
Irish
Belts of money.
pronunciation.
Yeah.
Got it. It's the
Yeah.
billfold thing. Oh, okay.
There's something lost in translation.
I think I'm going to go Aldo. I really like Max Holloway a lot, but I think I'm going to go Aldo. It's really tough.
It is really
tough.
But I'm going to go Aldo as well. So that means Holloway's winning.
Gene?
Who you got?
You know, I really want to say Aldo because I really just because. From
Even though his
watching-
movie on Netflix sucked.
No, I know his acting career is just horrible. He should have stayed with pornos in South America. But and then Holloway though is really can have that edge if he pulls it. So you know, like you say, you're rolling the boat. But yeah, you know, okay, I'll roll the dice and say Aldo.
Man, 3-1.
It's not rolling dice, man.
Does that mean I don't get my hat?
Yeah, no, Aldo.
4-1.
I'll
just
change
to fight
it.
You.
Boom. There it is. It all goes down tomorrow night. UFC 212. Make sure you check it out. If you got pay-per-view, watch it. If you don't, then go to a friend's house who has pay-per-view and watch it there.
Somebody can afford it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Big thanks for Gene for coming in.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me. Remember, come down the gym anytime you want. 7th and M, Voodoo Kickboxing at Bad to the Bones, Monday through Thursday.
Find us anywhere podcasts are broadcast, as well as ST_MMA on Twitter and Instagram, Split Decision MMA Podcast on Facebook, and SplitDecisionMMA.com. Thanks to our sponsors, MyMMAnews.com and
Dependable sources. Innovate your
Solutions.
business. Sorry.
Dependable Solutions.
Dependable solutions.
Actually pay attention.
All right. I was just testing everybody.
I just needed a quick reminder.
Testing.
Dependable
1, 2, 3.
Solutions. Innovate your businesses.
Innovate.
Is that what it is?
Innovate.
All right.
You want to send that to him?
Send that to him. We got something coming for you, Sean. Tell your friends. Big thanks for listening. Till next time, have a good night. From the Rulot Family Studios, we'll see you at the fights.